welcome back. And we're ready to start the show now. So that's good. Full screen and it's now. All right, we're ready to start our show. Give us about another 5 or 6 seconds. Yep, there we go.
And here's your host, relation to Tom Kennedy, I don't think.
No, sadly no, but only by name. Only by name. And
There you go.
however, the thing is, everybody says, "Oh, you sound like so much like Tom Kennedy." Yeah, you look a little like him. You sound like him, and you're like erudite, like Tom or Alex. You could do like quizzers or such things with a little practice. Yeah, so,
I'm actually hearing you live and in delay, and it's kind of strange.
I know I don't know why, and I'm sorry, friends. I would definitely check your settings to see if it would be headphones only. Like
Yeah, but I am hearing it in headphones.
Ah,
I'll, I'll,
you know what? Give me a second. Can you hear me? I can't hear myself now. Is this better? Is this better?
no, I'm still hearing you I'm hearing you live and delay. So you'll ask me something, and then I'll hear you asking me again 3 or 4 seconds later.
I don't know why that is. It's probably with. I don't know if it's on my end or your end. I really don't know. But yeah, I would say try your settings once again. I'm going to try my own settings. If not, we have an alternate method. I think we could use an alternate method. Yeah, let's go to the alternate, shall we? You're seeing how this production runs.
Okay. Wait a minute. I think it might be. I have both of them open. I have this one open, so I'm going to close one of them.
Do that, yeah. That'd be good, yeah.
Okay, that's better.
Awesome. Now you're good.
Now we're good.
Awesome. It was on your end. I knew it. I kind of knew it, but I thought it might be on my end.
No,
You never know.
I had the Meet open and the YouTube open.
Gotcha.
Because I wasn't sure which one you were going to use.
Absolutely.
It's working now, so we're good.
You got it. Anyways.
Once again, it's Chris Kennedy.
Yeah, thank you, Dean, my man. Yeah. Thank you, friends at home. And yes, it's good to have your bases open when you record like this. Check every setting. I have a lot of questions for you, the other half, yeah. Because there's a lot I've known people that have interviewed you on their show to allow your radio days. Well, tell us where you were born in San Francisco, I believe, right?
Yeah, I was born in the Bay Area.
Cool.
And went to school at San Diego State, majored in broadcasting. And
Nice.
in 1971, when I graduated in May, and in August, I got my first radio gig in South Lake Tahoe at a radio station called KOWL. It was a little AM station, and I think it was 1490, I think, on the dial.
Yes.
And that was my first gig. I remember I put together an audition tape in college. That was one of the assignments in a class. And that's actually all I had to try and find work with. And so I literally walked into the radio station in South Lake Tahoe because my parents had a home up in Tahoe that they used to go all the time from the Bay Area up to Tahoe. So I said, I just went up and said, I know there was a couple of radio stations. I'm going to apply for a gig. So I walked in, gave them my tape. They listened. They said, "Can you start tonight?" I said,
"Wow."
I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, we just lost our all-night guy, midnight till 6 in the morning."
My.
And I said, "Well, absolutely I can. I'm 21 years old." And I'm saying, "Yeah." And the radio station was in Harrah's Lake Tahoe Casino.
Oh, cool.
It It was in the second floor of the casino. So I said, hey, great location. And I started literally that night.
Cool. Was this in Vegas, right?
No, it was Lake Tahoe.
Oh, Lake Tahoe. I'm sorry. It escaped me for a second. Lake Tahoe, Harrison, Tahoe. Yes.
Yes, right at
There we
state
go.
line, because
State line, yeah.
South Shore in Lake, half of Lake Tahoe is in Nevada, and the other half of Lake Tahoe is in California.
Gotcha. So it would be the California side, right?
I lived on the California side, but worked in the Nevada side because that's where
Gotcha.
that. But I'll tell you, I worked 30, 40 feet into the Nevada side. I
Gotcha,
think it was,
man.
I think it was a California licensed radio station, but the studios just happened to be in Harris Tahoe, which was fun. I because we had an agreement where the people on the air, if we talked about the shows that were coming to the South Shore room in Tahoe, we could go see them and go to the dinner show for free. It was part of the perk. And I said, hey, great, let's do this. So that was my first gig. And that lasted, I'll tell you exactly, it lasted one winter.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? I can't live in this snow. I can't drive in this snow because all you do, it's bumper cars when you're in snow in Tahoe. And I'm sure anywhere in the country, you hit the brakes and you just hit another car or into a wall or anything. You don't stop, even with snow tires and chains. Oftentimes you just slide and hit. And I said, I didn't have a ding in my car till I lived there for a year and got about 15 in them. But yeah, that was the very first gig.
Awesome for what it was worth. Oh yes. You also done work at KCBQ in San Diego, correct?
Yes, yeah. Well, I'll tell you exactly where I went. From Lake Tahoe, I went to probably maybe I think a year and a half, and then in 1974, I went to KYA in San Francisco, which was one of the stations that I listened to growing up as a kid.
Wow.
And I remember listening to Tommy Saunders, a jock there, and I'd be doing my homework in school. I won tickets to see the Beatles in 1966 at Candlestick Park. They're to the radio station and stayed there quite ready enough to take a cue. Quite ready enough to take a cue was 1976. Went back home and
Friends in New York that care.
that's right. That's right. If you have to compare the two, WCBS FM New York, K Earth 101, my game show career.
And later on, I believe, doing voiceovers, right? In New York.
Well, interesting. Interesting. When I was in San Francisco, when I left K Earth 101, I went up to, we worked for, morning show there before Scott Shannon. Dan Taylor was the morning guy, and he went on vacation and in New York and fill in on the morning show for a week and that's exactly what I did. And that was the best time. 2000. That was the best time. 2000. It was 2000. It was 2000. It was one of the thrills of there's a ring. It was one of the thrills of there's a ratings thing in San Francisco in CBS. WCBS FM in New York for that 1 week. FM in New York for that 1 week. 4.5.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, even San Francisco because of Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
I would say because of Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
I would say San Francisco is probably the most expensive place to live today.
1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
New York would be 1 or 2, or
Oh,
the
yeah,
other way around in Los Angeles, 1 or 2, Or
Oh
it'd be
yeah,
the other way
yeah,
around, and Los Angeles would be 3 or 4 on the
sure,
list.
yeah, no question, no question.
And then Florida would be like 5. Virginia would be all the way to number 12, which is where I'm headed. Hopefully one of these days, or Canada.
There you go.
Yeah, stays or Canada.
There you go.
Yeah, I have a great. Yeah, so they have been with social
Right,
media,
right,
except they do it.
right.
Except they do it like week to week. Is it similar? Nah, it's like week to week. Is it similar? Nah, it's exactly the same thing. Yes, they do it week to week, and total ratings so far, it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
And the other thing is how many followers. Things so far, it's amazing.
yeah, yeah.
And the other thing is how many followers, like how many devout followers you have at a given time that listen
Yeah.
every minute.
That would be called that would be called P1 listeners.
Yes.
P1.
listeners. That's what you
P1
want.
listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your friends starting a podcast out there or into podcasting and want to reinvent yourselves like I'm doing, you want P1 listeners. That's what you want.
Yep.
Yeah. Now we're gonna get back into podcasting in a little bit, but I guess we'll start with game shows. Like,
Sure.
but before that, you've done like one of.
Sure.
But before that, you've done like one of two things. You've done promos for the Los Angeles Olympic show, 1984, for the Los Angeles Olympic Games.
The first time the torch run ever happened, 1984,
Yeah, 1984.
at the LA Olympics. And I still have that torch. I carried that torch the same day that O.J. Simpson carried it. And you run about a quarter of a mile.
Yeah.
And I'm running with this torch in my hand. And I just happened to be, I ran it on a Saturday afternoon at 2:30 on Sunset Boulevard.
Wow.
And at 2:30 in the morning, that at 2:30 in the afternoon, that would be 5:30 New York time,
Yeah.
East Coast time.
Yeah.
So I was on carrying the Olympic torch on Wide World of Sports live, and I didn't know it.
Love that. Wonderful. And
I was doing Let's Make a Deal.
Gotcha.
So
you were Elizabeth.
and
What time
and
exactly?
yeah, because it was a difficult. The reason that it was too busy. Dick Clark.
Yes.
We changed his tie and put another jacket on,
Yeah.
and it's now Tuesday.
Yeah.
Even though it's a Sunday,
And
we did those
Jeopardy
on a
worked the
Sunday.
same exact way with Trebek.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Shows like that are easy turnarounds. So you can do. We did 10 shows a day with Dick Clark
Yes,
because he was so
yeah.
busy.
Whereas you only got to do 5 within the 12 hours with Monty.
Oh, we got to do 3.
Oh my, yeah, it took longer. Yeah.
It took longer because we had to take, like I said, move a car
Animals,
out.
and there were so
animals
many cars, more cars than you expect.
Yes.
Because they gave away
Appliances.
sometimes. Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember
appliances and stuff. There was just too much setup in between that we could only do 3 shows a day. So that's why we did them Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that's it. Just how cumbersome a show was.
that. Wow. Let's Make a Deal must have been the hardest show to produce. And it still is with the Wayne Brady. I don't know if they dumbed down some things or if they jazzed up other things.
Right, yeah.
I don't follow that show like I did the Monty show or Bob Hilton version.
No, I to be honest, no, I haven't really seen a lot of that. My sister-in-law, my daughter-in-law went on it.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow.
Like last year, and it was really different because it was still under COVID. It wasn't quite a live audience.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so it was quite a bit different.
Yeah.
But I got to do it with Monty Hall, and no one was better at it than Monty Hall.
Of course. Yeah, exactly. Monty was Let's Make a Deal. He produced it, and
Yeah.
also he created it along with Stefan Hados.
Yep. Steph Hados.
Yeah, Steph
Yep,
Hados.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another show. Yeah, I do remember you saying on somebody's show it was 10 o'clock and you accidentally gave away a car because you were zoning out, and it was an exhausting tape day back in
Yeah,
those
yeah.
years.
Well, actually, it wasn't a car.
Oh,
Uh,
what
it
was it?
it was another prize, but it wasn't as big as a car.
Yeah,
And to set up why that happened,
yeah.
like I said, I'd get up at 3:30 in the morning to do my show, starting at 5:30 till 10 in the morning on K Earth in
Yes.
Los Angeles. Then I went immediately over to KTLA Studios, which is now Netflix. They bought it, but there would be I'd get there at 10 o'clock, and so like I said, and we'd rehearse and work all the way up till 10 o'clock at night doing the last show. So I was up from 3:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, and I was exhausted, just
Yeah.
absolutely exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
So Monty had me come down with a box, and whenever Monty wanted to say, well, let's see what's in the box, he'd hit the top of the box. He'd hit the top of the box, and I'd lift it up. Well, Monty said, do you want this box? The person says, no, I'll take the envelope, and give him the envelope. Then Monty hit the top of the box, and he said, I'm going to give this box to you. And he pointed to someone else. But I just saw him hit the top of the box,
That was
and
your
that was my
meaning, that was probably your
that
cue.
that was my cue to open it up, and there it was.
Like
And
when you didn't even hear him say it, I was like, whoops.
yep, I didn't even
Uh-oh.
I didn't even hear him say he was giving it to that guy.
Yeah, I
But
know.
it was a very funny moment. He did it really well. He
Yeah.
handled it really well. He said, is that your cousin? Did you just give your cousin that prize? That kind of a thing.
Yeah, I would have been sweating. If that was me, I would have been sweating.
Yeah. Oh, I was. Believe me, I was saying, oh, they're gonna dock my pay. They're gonna make me.
Me too.
I felt terrible. But you know what? They couldn't have been better about it. They couldn't have
Gotcha.
been better. And
That's why
Monty
they're
said,
legends.
yeah. And backstage, Monty says, don't
you.
worry. I've done that many times, and I own this
course.
show, so don't worry about it.
Like you're a legend, Dean Goss, for all those years. You've been doing this for a long time. Let's just say.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of stories.
Yeah. What time is it now? I guess we'll keep doing this for like about 22 minutes or so, and then we'll.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll do a part 2 later.
We'll do section 2 of this part 2, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And yeah. Now, I had one other question about Richard Simmons. What exactly did they have you cast to do back then? Richard Simmons video. Were you doing voiceovers? Were you?
No, I was going to be on camera working out with them.
Awesome. That's what I do with. I actually have a YouTube channel where I do that. It's funny because I'm dressed flamboyantly like Roddy as I do that. The workout videos. It's funny because I do that same thing too.
I was going to be in Sweating to the Oldies, one of the workout people doing all this stuff. And
That's awesome.
yeah.
I know Rod did it on The Price is Right, so.
Right.
And
right.
he was Rod Juina also on another showcase. I like that. Johnny Olsen also dressed in drag. Who else? Rich Fields. I'm going to get to Rich Fields in a minute. But
I worked with Rich Fields.
Oh, we can talk about him now, yeah.
In Los Angeles, we were on a radio station together called KODJ.
Oh, cool.
And I was doing mornings and he was doing nights.
Wow.
So, but
Round the clock. You got Rich and Dean and Rich.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We were both on the same radio station, which I think you could probably find that KODJ.
KODJ, yes.
And see, there might be, KODJ survey picture or something. You'll see the entire staff, and I'm there, and so is Rich Fields. If you want to look that up on YouTube or wherever.
I will definitely do that. Yes.
Yeah, it's KODJ was the station. It's now used, I think, in Dallas, Texas, or something. But at the time, it was KODJ in Los Angeles.
Yes. What was the studio that Netflix bought? Hollywood Center.
KTLA.
KTLA. Yep, that was Hollywood Center for a time. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was. No, I think it was
Golden West.
No, No, no. Well, Golden West was there. Yeah,
Yeah.
KMPC was there, but it was actually it was called the Gowan's Gower Studios because
Oh, the
it was
Gower
on
Studios.
it was on
Yeah.
Sunset and Gower. So it was the
Yes.
Gower Studios, and now that's where Netflix is. And it's funny because my son worked for Netflix for about 9 years, and
Wow.
his office overlooked the studio where we did because the studios are still there,
Pretty cool. Wow.
and it overlooked the studio that I did Let's Make a Deal when he was 2 years old in my dressing room with my wife.
Oh, nice. His wife Deborah. Which son was this? Chris or Addison?
It's Chris.
Chris Goss. Yeah, I know.
Yes,
Remember them both, and your wife. I remember your whole family. You have a nice family. Class acts, wonderful
thank you.
people. You're welcome. I mean that seriously. Definitely, they're all wonderful people. Yeah. So, oh, I have a show for you that another project that Peter DeMarkin hated, and I'm pretty sure you didn't like it. Also, Bargain Hunters.
Bargain Hunters.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're old enough to remember it.
I am. Oh, I remember it. I saw one episode of it on first
Okay.
run.
Yeah, it was a summer replacement that didn't make it past 3 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was on ABC,
Yes, it
and
was.
and at the time,
11:30.
yes, and at the time there was Home Shopping Network, uh, QVC, and all that going
And
on.
they did another game show I remember even more called the Home Shopping Game with your friend Bob Goen.
Yes, I did the pilot.
Oh, I remember now. Yeah, wonderful.
I did the pilot of that,
Yes.
and it was the same director that directed Jerry.
Goldstein, Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah, he did High Rollers. He was the director of High Rollers when I worked there.
Yes.
Anyway, it was kind of a takeoff on Home Shopping. It's
Yeah.
like it was like Price is Right, but hey, if you want to own this chair and set and washer and dryer, you can buy it right now at a special discount. Blah blah blah. So it was really a funky show that way. Peter Tomarkin, terrific to work with, funny guy. We got along. We got along really well. But yeah, the show. I knew that show would never make it,
And it didn't.
and it didn't.
Thankfully.
No.
Yeah. Oh yes, oh yes. Bad concept for a game show that followed in vain. Well,
Yeah.
we'll do another hit that you've done. Two hits actually. High Rollers and I'm Telling back in 1987 to 1988. One of
Yeah.
the High Rollers with Wink Martindale, if he's
Yep.
listening.
Yep.
Happy holidays, happy New Year to you, Wink, Sandy, and your lovely family, Matthew Clot, and everybody else. And also Laurie Fasso's with I'm Telling.
Yes.
My friend Jason
Yes.
Nadel wanted to know how was it like with working with Wink and Laurie.
Wink. I love Wink.
Yes.
He's the same person as he is on camera.
Yeah.
One of the nicest, talented, amazing career. He's what, 90 years old now, or
91, yeah.
91.
I think 90 or 91, one of them.
And Wink, you still look great.
Yes,
I don't know
does.
how he does. He is proof that there is a fountain of youth because he's been drinking from it.
Yeah, I know one of his secrets, he's tried Pilates with Sandy.
Oh, he's played tennis.
Yes.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yes.
Great to work with. Lots of fun, and we both shared radio together. So we had a lot in common. But he was terrific. That show again was a show that we do 5 of them because it'd be a quick turnaround. Wink would change a jacket and put another shirt on, and hey, it's now Tuesday after we did Monday.
Yeah.
And
I think they did 5 of those per day.
yes,
Right? Or
yep,
6.
we did. We did those on. That was Saturday and Sunday. We did those. So
Oh, yes.
and working with
Lori Foster when I'm telling
Laurie
you.
Fosse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm telling. He was fun. He was fun. A little green. It was new for him to do it, but he did
Yes.
fine. And I remember in that show, um, boy, what that actor, he died in a car
Oh
accident.
my.
He died in a car accident, and
Yeah.
it was those Vin Diesel and gosh, what
Wow.
I can't remember the name of those
Fast and the
movies.
Furious?
Yes,
Oh
yes,
my.
and it was the kid. I can't think of his name, but he was
Neither can
on.
I. Yeah.
He was on. I'm telling when he was like 12 or 13 years old with his
Wow.
sister,
Amazing.
and then years later he became a star of the Fast and the Furious, and then died. He
Oh.
died in a car accident, going Fast and Furious. So it was kind of ironic.
Yeah, it's a bad habit too.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
movie can have on you.
Oh,
Oh my.
yeah.
It's very shaken up, but it seems crazy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's funny. You didn't know it at the time. He was just a contestant because nobody really knew who he
Yeah.
was, and it wasn't until what 10, 15 years later that he got famous for being in those movies.
Exactly.
I just can't remember his name at the time, but
Oh,
that's my
yes.
age.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so you also done Slime Time, and which was another kids game show with the slime,
Yes.
and your children love to play with the slime. I heard, and you have to say like, please wait till after because they won't. Yeah, after. I promise you, we'll go into slime after the taping. You were like,
Oh, of
right?
course. Yeah, yeah. They'd be in the dressing room and they'd be wanting to get in and get into all that mess. And actually, they did.
Yeah, they
and they
did,
were
which is cool. They
and
covered
they
themselves with slime.
they were good about it. Slime time. That's right. Yeah.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
Any special memories, or you want to fill us in what that show was about for those who forgot, if you can, that is.
Well, it was again. It was kind of a takeoff of the original. Well, again, I see his face. Can't think of his name. Um, Mark Summers.
Double Dare. Yes.
Double Dare. Yes, Double Dare.
Like
Mark
Funhouse
Summers.
was too.
Yes.
One of those
Yes.
Double Dare followers. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And no, that was it was a fun show. It was a fun show, kids show. I was on NBC's Saturday, I believe, in the morning.
Yes.
And no, it was
Syndicated.
yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
I can't specifically say there was any specific story or something that occurred.
We could just say it was something followed in Double Dare's footsteps.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It was a Double Dare show.
It was good for what it was
Type of
worth.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
And then we had Win, Lose, or Draw, where you were subbing for Gene Wood or Bob Hilton, hosted by Bert Convey or Vicky
It was
Lawrence Shirt.
It was actually the Vicki Lawrence part.
Oh, Vicky
which
Lawrence Schultz. Or Vicky Lawrence, I should
Yeah,
say.
Vicki Lawrence, and Vicki Lawrence, and it was I think it was the nighttime version, or did Bert?
Daytime. Bert did
So-
the nighttime.
Okay, Bert did the nighttime. This was the daytime version. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and I did that again. That was I did a week or two fill in because again. We did Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday or Friday or whatever, 2 days a week.
2 days and 5
Most
days.
shows were done 2 days a week,
Five
where you did 5 and
shows
5.
a day, yeah.
So I would be on for 2 weeks at a time, but only one day.
Gotcha. And then $100,000 pyramid we talked about. Yeah. I think, Dick Clark, 15-minute turnaround, much like Jeopardy.
Yeah, yeah, yes. And Dick, I got to tell you, Dick Clark,
Yes.
he was a gem too.
Oh, yes.
And it's amazing. It's amazing because I'm off to the side in my little booth by the audience, and he was such a professional that he would be directing the show And just as he's on camera, he'd switch. And he directed meaning, get that light. We need a better light. Get that light over here. Give me closer, right here. 5, 4, 3. Get over there. Hi, Dick Clark back here now. And he would just go from almost screaming to being on camera. And it blew my mind. He'd be going, no, get that light over there. Get it over here. Bring it down here. I said, I want it over here. Hi, Dick Clark back here now. And he would just turn it right on.
Oh,
and that always would blow my mind because he was very involved. He got very involved in the shows.
He was serious about his work.
Oh, yeah, no question. But he could just, be yelling or mad at something or directing something over here and not have to go, give me 10 seconds. Hi, welcome back. He would just instantly go, hi, welcome back.
And it was even worse so on Bandstand or whatever shows he owned.
Yeah.
Because I remember he had to leave for Bandstand the next day.
Yeah. Well, I remember the only thing, two things. I remember we'd break for dinner and we'd be having dinner, which was always catered. And I'd be sitting next to him and really looking at his hair. And I said, Dick, I got to ask you, you don't dye your hair. He goes, no, I don't. Never have. He says, it's just genetics. And it's true. He never had gray hair. And I'm sitting there next to him and really looking, saying, does he dye? Because Monty dyed his hair. And, we know that.
Yeah.
But Dick Clark, no, he didn't dye his hair.
He had very few gray hairs and you rarely ever saw him.
No, because they weren't there.
None whatsoever, right?
No, he didn't have gray hair.
Like a whole head of brown hair.
Absolutely, and he was well into his 60s,
70s.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh my gosh!" Yeah, but it was great. Plus, another thing, I got a chance to go into his office.
Yes.
At Dick Clark Productions.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, his office is a museum.
Wow.
Of every memorabilia all over the walls and everywhere. And you just sit in his office and you just could stay there for hours looking at everything. It was really amazing. But he was a pro. He was a pro all the way. All the way.
Indeed. Dick is like a father to the podcasters, broadcasters before that, and TV, radio.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Monty Hall, Wink Martindale, Alan Ludden.
Yep.
Art James.
Yeah.
And, so the next thing, I'll really quickly go over the 3 pilots you've done, at least. Eavesdroppers with Wink. Then we have Betcha, which was a pilot created by Murray Schwartz from Merv Griffin Productions, his top executive. One of his top executives, Murray Schwartz, created that. And Paul Anka also created that Betcha. And you've also done the puzzle game with Jim Lang, which was a revival of catchphrase.
Puzzle Roulette.
Puzzle Roulette. Oh, Puzzle Roulette. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was called Puzzle Roulette. Marty Pacetta Productions.
That's a revival of catchphrase, pretty much.
Yeah.
Revival of catchphrase. It uses some more or less, I will say. I saw that pilot. It was amazing, but it was like a little crazy.
Yeah, it was. That was one of the best audience warm-ups I did.
Awesome.
And they were a great crowd, had a lot of fun. I was having more fun doing the audience warm-up than when we actually did the show. Said, oh, now we got to do the show? No, I'm having fun out here. But
cool.
Yeah, and Jim Lang's terrific. Years later, I worked with Jim Lang in San Francisco. He was on a radio station there, and I was on the FM side of the radio station. So we literally would look at each other in the glass, in my studio, and he'd be in his studio.
Yeah.
But he was a gem, another gem of a man, really.
Awesome. Then we have Betcha. How was that?
Well, Betcha, I think I just voiced that. I don't think I was there I don't remember being in studio and doing that pilot.
Gotcha.
That pilot. I think I would do the opening, and then I would just do the some of our parting contestants will receive blah blah blah.
It was
So
pre-recorded. Must have
yeah,
been.
all
You can only do it
pre-recorded.
today,
Yeah,
most of the time, if you're not in studio. that
yeah,
is.
didn't have to be in studio for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Only difference was it was on audio cassettes, reel-to-reel cassettes, or DAT tapes, as they had it back then.
Right, right.
And I will get into those tapes on another show. I promise, my friends, the audio files. We could talk about that on our next podcast if you like, Dean.
No problem.
Podcast, that would be awesome. Yes, yes. Also, eavesdroppers. How is that? I know you were on camera with Tom Kennedy and Wink, I believe.
Yes, that was a
Maybe you
fun
can
that
share.
that was a fun show.
Yes.
That because I not only was I announcing, but I was also in the skits. We would do skits to get people to guess whatever the topic we were talking about. So we'd act out little vignettes, and they would have to figure out if it was a person, place, or thing. And that was
awesome.
fun. That was fun. Yeah, there was.
So like charades. But
Yes,
in
very,
parody.
very much like charades.
Body
yeah.
language, show offs, pyramid,
Yes.
password.
Yeah.
Any of those games. And they would have to
'Cause
do with
Because they would have to eavesdrop on what we were talking
guess
about
the subject from what they're
to get the
describing.
subject or the clue. Yes.
And it was a cute title, Eavesdroppers. And
Yeah.
it should be brought back as a podcast, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, I
That'd
would
be a
love to
great
talk
podcast.
to Wink about that.
Yes,
Maybe
yeah.
I could host or produce it with him, one of them, if he has the time, that is.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Love that. You can do anything with Apple Podcasts on YouTube and YouTube, for that matter. I mean,
Yeah, sure, sure.
yeah, there are two other subjects. Wheel of Fortune. You are being. I have no idea if you've done a pilot or a run through for the NBC or CBS version when they were transitioning into 1989. In the
Well,
summer.
that was, gosh, I think they looked at Bob Goen. They looked at me.
Yes.
But the funny thing is they went with Ralph Bernershka, the place kicker for the San Diego Chargers.
Yes, this was in January. Yeah.
Yes. And I got to tell you, everyone was like, what? It was like, serious?
He was
But
a
for
good
some-
host. He had empathy, and I liked that about him. But
Yeah.
I didn't even really know who Ralph was. But when I heard he was a football player, I said, "That's him." I know who he is, and he had Crohn's disease and.
Well, that I
Griffin.
don't know, but I know that he was the place kicker for the San Diego Chargers. Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard Merv watched a tape of him, and he says, talking about his Crohn's disease, Merv was like, "That's the guy I want for the show." So they said he sent his production executives to get in touch with him, and they did the work for him.
Yeah, yeah.
What about when they went to, like, at the end of the NBC era in June of 1989, or July, when they were going to CBS? Were you considered again, or was that going only in Chuck Henry?
No, the only let's make a deal, not let's make a deal.
Wheel of Fortune, right?
Wheel, yeah, the only wheel thing was that one with that Bernershka got, Ralph Bernershka
When
got.
Sajak left, that was the first
Yes.
time in January.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And that's when CBS built a studio for the Pat Sajak show, the
Yes,
talk
36.
show. Yeah, the talk show.
Yes, they had a shower built in, according to Randy West.
Yeah.
They had a shower built in for Pat in a big dressing room. I think it was similar in size to Bob Barker's.
Yeah, yeah. I another thrill for me is I hosted a pilot, and it was I predict.
I predict, yes.
It's a show for CBS called I Predict, and I did the pilot, and it was Greenwald.
I forgot about that one. Oh,
Greenwald. I can't remember. I can again. I see his face. I can't remember his name, but he produced it,
Ron
And
Greenberg. It must
yes,
be, right?
Ron Greenberg.
Yes.
Yes, Ron Greenberg. You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
And I got to, for a Saturday,
Yes.
I got to use Bob Barker's dressing room.
Oh, cool. That's wonderful.
So
Wow.
again, that's one of those. Wow!
Exactly.
I was more excited to be in Bob Barker's dressing room than actually hosting it.
Yes.
But that was a fun shoot.
Studio
That
33. Yep.
that was a fun shoot. In fact, I know I've got it. I've got it on tape somewhere, and I need to digitize it and put it up on YouTube.
No, it'd be good for you to post on YouTube or on as a podcast your audience warm-ups. I would love to hear what they were like.
Oh, I wish they were on. I wish we had tapes. I really do.
Oh
Well,
my.
it's the funny thing is I would, well, I was doing mornings for most of my radio career. And so I just treated it like my morning show. I would just talk to people, ask them
Gotcha.
questions, and bring up subjects and topics and things like that. Same thing I would do on the radio,
Yes.
only I did it to a live audience. So it was kind of stand up, but not hardcore comedy,
Like a
just
talk
more.
conversation.
Yes. And I let people express things. I let people sing if they wanted to sing. I let them show their talent if they wanted to,
Awesome.
it was that kind of a,
Wonderful.
I wish I had copies of that, but gone forever.
Oh my god. They got rid of them, right?
To my knowledge, I don't think they were ever recorded.
Oh my. They did record Johnny Olson's and Rod Roddy's and Rich Fields, I know. And probably
Yeah.
one or two Randy West are out.
Yeah. Well, not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. Or if they recorded them, they never told me.
Gotcha. I saw some of Randy's. I saw some of Rich's. I saw some of Rod's.
Yeah.
I saw some of Johnny's. They might have taped. Maybe somebody must have snuck in a tape recorder and.
Oh, well, sure. Well, oh, they can easily do it. Of course they
know.
can. They could easily do it.
Yeah.
And maybe some did. I don't know.
If you're out there and you have a copy, you think you have a copy of Randy. I'm sorry, Dean Goss, our man Dean over there. Please let Dean know or one of us know. My email is ckennedygames@gmail.com. I will post it later in the links. And I'll put you in touch with Dean. I'll give you Dean's email. And you can talk to him and you can send him the copy if you have it out there. Any audios, videos, whatever you got of his work that we don't have. Dean might not have either.
Only if it's good.
I know, yeah. If it's a good copy, even better. Yeah. So I have two other things. You were considered to announce on The Price is Right in 1985 and 86. How about 2003 too? When Johnny Olson and Rod Roddy, of course.
No, when Johnny Olson died, they got in touch with me.
Yeah.
My agent at the time wanted me to chat with him. And it's funny because I said, I don't think I can do this. I mean, I'm under contract. And it turns out that I was under contract with Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah.
And because if you're on camera and announcing,
Yeah.
you can't do any other work because you're under contract for them. But when
Jobs. Yeah.
right, but when Let's Make a Deal ended, then I could do high rollers, win, lose or draw. I could do as many game show voicing, just announcing that I wanted to do.
And
But
with-
if I was,
on
but
camera,
if I was on camera, that's a different. I'm part of that
one
show.
show.
That's exactly right. Like Rod Roddy could only do that show because he would be on camera.
Yes.
And Rich Fields could only do that show because he'd be on camera.
Yeah.
But when I left Let's Make a Deal, at one time I was doing about 5 shows. And
Wow.
busy, doing a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Saturday, Sunday, every other Saturday and Sunday was high rollers and stuff like that. If I can get it in the schedule, I could do it.
You did.
And I could do as many of those as I wanted to. But because I was on camera, I couldn't. I was under exclusivity to Hades Hall.
You got it. Yeah, exclusive. Yeah, because you did the voice. Of course, once again, because when you're on two positions, you're locked in. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was on camera. I was part of the show visually.
Ah,
I
yes.
was I was a personality visually to the show.
Yes. Yeah. And one final thing, I wanted to go over with you some of your ideas and thoughts on other game show hosts, announcers, and producers like Jim Perry. I don't know if you ever met Jim Perry.
No, I never did. I never met
He
Jim.
was another legend that I liked. I know
Yeah,
I'm in
yeah.
touch. I wrote an email to him and he said thank you so much for. Aaron passed my email to him and he wrote me through Aaron, I believe, or he wrote to me saying thank you so much for enjoying my book. It was of service, great service that I could do to you. And of
Yeah.
course, Art James. Did you meet Art James?
I did not meet Art James. No. Never
He's,
worked never worked with Art.
wow, he's another legend. You remind me of him a little bit.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, very good. Yes, Jeff Edwards. How about Jeff Edwards?
Oh,
And Bill,
Jeff Edwards. Love Jeff Edwards.
yeah, we
Jeff
love Jeff. Yeah,
Jeff Edwards again, radio, KMPC. So
KMPC.
we both came out of radio to doing television. In fact, how I started getting into game show work, how I got the job at Let's Make a Deal, is an interesting story. Because I was on K Earth 101 doing mornings. I was asked to host the local version of the Jerry Lewis telethon over Labor Day.
Oh my.
So I was like, I don't know if it was KCOP or KTLA, but I think it may have been KTLA. So I'm on a Saturday night and I'm hosting with another gal, and it was Saturday, and it was, hey, let's look at the tote board. Hey, thanks, Chris Kennedy, for sending in your 20 bucks. Hey,
I
thanks,
wish I
so and
could
so
have
and so.
done that.
It was that kind of thing, and I'm in a tuxedo.
Yes.
So I'm wearing a tuxedo, and I'm on camera, and then that was Saturday night. Monday morning,
Oh, yes.
I get off the air at K Earth at 10 o'clock in the morning, and the receptionist says, you have a phone call from Jim Murphy, I believe his name was, and he was with
Yes.
Creative Artist Agency, CAA.
Yes.
And I said, oh, he's an agent. I'll give him a call. He says, hey, listen, I saw you Saturday night on the Jerry Lewis telethon. I thought you looked great. You got a good look. I liked your personality. Have you ever considered game shows? And I thought, no, all I've ever done is radio. I said, game shows? I mean, what? Do you go to the Bob Barker School of Game Shows? How do you do that? And he says, oh, no. He says, listen, my division, we just do game shows. And I think I can get you on camera or at least announcing, and come in tomorrow. And I went in, signed a contract with him. And in two or 3 weeks, he had me in to see Monty Hall and Steph Hados for Let's Make a Deal.
Awesome. Very nice. Wow.
Eh.
That's an amazing story.
And that's how I got that job. But the more amazing thing,
Yes.
remember, Phil Hartman from Saturday Night Live?
Yes. I do.
Phil Hartman was killed by his wife, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching a TV show about his life or whatever, a documentary thing. And I'm sitting there watching it, and the person asked him a question, what was one of your disappointments in this industry? He said, oh, that's an easy one. I was living in Los Angeles, and I was up for the announcer on Let's Make a Deal, and I didn't get it. And I went, I did.
Oh, wow.
So I can say I beat Phil Hartman out for the Let's Make a Deal job. And I'm sitting there going, Phil Hartman was my competition, but then nobody knew who Phil Hartman was then. wasn't until the 90s that he was on Saturday Night Live. He said, I left LA and went to New York. And I just thought to myself, well, Phil, aren't you glad you didn't get the job?
Exactly. Exactly. You made a
So
lot more money
anyway,
than on Let's Make a Deal.
oh,
But Let's Make a Deal
absolutely.
is a good show, however. They're both good shows.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
But
going to complain
yeah.
about that.
No, 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 no,
But
absolutely.
yeah, absolutely not. Definitely, absolutely, yeah. How about Jeff Edwards? You remember Jeff Edwards was before you hosted Let's Make a Deal for the one or two episodes or deals. Jeff Edwards subbed for
For
Monty
Monty,
Hall.
yeah, Monty got sick and Jeff Edwards was
Jeff
in
Edwards,
there.
right?
And yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
I do
remember.
remember that.
Yeah, I remember Jeff on Starcade. So you were like the other host for Monty. You and Jeff share that too, which is cool.
Yes,
How about
yes.
Bill Rafferty? He was from San Francisco, I believe. Well,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was from New York City, but he lived
Right.
in San Francisco for a long time. Any
Yeah.
fond memories of Bill?
Oh, sure. I remember Bill. Yeah. Since I was in radio up there. Yeah. I've even had him on my show a few times and we'd talk about game shows and such. Yeah. Good guy.
Yes,
Good
and
guy.
it brings me to tears to talk about this, but Chuck Woolery, yeah,
Oh,
sadly, it was, as they say, he's no longer with us. They tell me he's no longer with us. It just flabbergasted me in a not good way.
my Chuck Woolery story.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
he was such first of all an amazing guy. Really an amazing guy. I did a couple of radio promotions with him, but the one that blows my mind
yes,
is I was called in uh, for telepictures because
yeah,
they did Let's Make a Deal,
yes.
and they syndicated Love Connection.
Love Connection, along with Catchphrase. Yeah,
Right. So the night, the day after his son died at 19 from a motorcycle
yeah,
accident,
Chad Woolery.
they called me up and the producer said, listen, we don't know if Chuck is going to show up. His son died, and we totally understand that he may not come in. Would you cover his promo session for Love Connection? Would you do the voiceovers? And I said, oh, absolutely. He says, okay, be at this studio uh, Monday or whatever. And I went in there and I was on standby at 11:30 to do the promos for Love Connection
Yes.
in case he didn't want to show. He showed up, eyes blurry from crying, went into the booth.
Tears, yeah.
He said, I don't want to talk about it. Don't ask me anything.
Exactly.
Let's just get this done. He did those promos as
I
if
remember.
nothing happened. That's a pro.
That's a
I
pro,
mean,
yes.
that is a pro. And he did those, knocked out those 15 promos for Love Connection,
Oh, yes.
got up and left.
Yeah.
And that was, I'll never forget that.
This is more grieving.
Never.
Yeah, Chuck Woolery, he you can now say that again, that he is reunited with his son.
Yes. Oh,
That's
no
how I
question.
like to think about it.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I had a loved one named Michelle, a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend. She was like my guardian angel. She is my guardian angel named Michelle Chalfant. I'll show you a picture of her one of these days on the show. I promise. I swear. But I feel the same way that Chuck felt about his son. I felt about her. He said the world has took something away from me, and I use the exact words, and I always will remember now. They took Chuck away.
Yeah.
They took his son, they took Michelle, and they took Chuck, and I will always remember Chuck teaching me about the meaning of how cruel the world can be and how happy the world can be sometimes.
Yeah. He was a very godly man.
Yes,
He was.
and I've learned a lot from Chuck, and I thank him,
Yep.
along with
Yeah.
Art, Tom, and Jack Nars was the last one we'll go into.
Oh, Jack, I worked with his son, Jim Nars.
Jim Nars.
Jim Nars was floor director on Let's Make a Deal.
Was that Tom Kennedy's son?
That was Tom Kennedy's nephew,
Oh,
because Jack Nars was Tom Kennedy's brother.
yes. Yes, he is. Yes, definitely.
So it was the Nars family, and
Yes.
that was great. But Jim Nars, it was Jack Nars' son, and he was floor director on Let's Make a Deal,
I remember. Yeah.
part of the staff,
Yes.
a good guy, and looks exactly like a cross between Tom Kennedy and Jack Nars.
Yes. Skip Nars, they call him also.
Yeah, yeah.
Cousin Skip. Or brother Skip. I gotta meet Skip one day when we get home. But yeah. Yeah, so Jack Nars, first Jack Nars, then Chuck Woolery, and everybody else in between. All great legends. And then,
Oh
of
yeah.
course, visit when we do these little podcasts. One of these next shows I'm going to do is a show about Dennis James and another one about Bill Cullen.
Oh yeah.
Be very exciting to talk about and bring back thrills and memories and visions of them, and we can meet them throughout the internet. And as we talk about them, I think it's like a feeling of comfort food, like The Price is Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll do a. I guess we'll. That's it for. I wanted to ask you one final question before we go, and we can just shoot the
Okay.
breeze for another minute, and then we'll sign out. But what do you have to say about the students or the people in general about the future of podcasting or broadcasting? Like, do you have whether they want to go into radio, television, or just kick it off with a podcast, like going to YouTube or Apple Podcast or Spotify streaming?
Well, no, podcasting is it's easy for someone to set up a podcast and a studio in their home.
Yes.
Um, it's funny because in radio we were the first influencers.
Yes.
We were the first. Before Facebook, there was radio, and
Yeah.
we would say, "Hey, what do you think of? How are you celebrating Christmas? Or what's one of your favorite Christmas memories? Call us up, tell us,
Invite them
and
to
we can
call.
share about it on the radio." So we were the first influencers. People had to listen to the radio to be on the show and be on the show live. And so I, an influencer, I sold a lot of mattresses, Sleep Train. I sold a lot of Metabolife. I sold a lot of windows, doors, and things like that by doing live commercials,
Yes.
live commercial reads. So radio people were the very first influencers. Well, now you get into podcasting. And with podcasting, it's important that if you think about doing a podcast, you have to dedicate yourself to do it religiously. You have to say, first of all, you have to have a topic and you have to be knowledgeable in that topic.
Yes.
Why would I want to listen to you? You talk game shows. A lot of people like game shows and stuff.
Oh yes.
Okay. You're not here talking about how to build, a deck or something,
Exactly.
So you have to have a topic that you know about and you can inform people, because in radio, just like in podcasting, you have to entertain, inform, or engage your audience. Entertain them, inform them, engage them.
Yes.
And engaging means give me your opinion. Well, I'm engaging you into my show. I'm going to say so and so, and I want you to say, "Oh, you're nuts. It's really this." I said, "No, the sky is blue. No, it's green." Okay. I'm engaging. So a podcast has to entertain, inform,
And engage.
entertain, make me laugh, make me see something.
Laugh. Yeah.
Make me see something or do something that's hilarious. Inform me, tell me something. Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yes.
Or piss me off and make me say, "Oh, you're out of your mind."
Yeah.
Engage
What the hell
me.
you doing? Yeah.
That's right.
And
So
engage them.
if you have those three things, entertain, inform, engage. You have a show. And now you have to have a consistency. So you have to dedicate yourself to do that show, even if you know you only have 6 people listening. Okay.
Wow.
You have to dedicate that and do it either every day or every 2 or 3 days to engage your audience. Like Joe Rogan does it every day.
Yes.
It's a show. These people are doing it every day.
Oh, yeah.
And then they'll find you, and word of mouth will get around. But you have to be consistent, and you have to say, I'm doing the show. I'm going to do it for this period. It's going to be 45 minutes. It's going to be an hour. It's going to be an hour and a half, whatever. It's going to be a defined time. Make it a show. Have a beginning and have an end, and have a way for people to engage with you. And then entertain them and inform them. Tell me something I didn't know. Oh, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what you're going to say again. Just like Howard Stern. Howard Stern made it so big because he broke all the rules. And the FCC was always after him. But CBS didn't care. They paid the fines. They would pay the fines, and Stern could say whatever he wanted and talk about whatever he wanted to, because people tuned in to see what's he going to say next that you're not supposed to say on the radio.
Exactly.
Okay? That's what made him big. So anyway, yeah, podcasting, again, if you're going to podcast, do it regularly. Make sure you know a topic. You have something to entertain me with, inform me, or engage me with. And you have to be consistent. And there you go. That's my advice.
You got it, Dean, man. Thank you so much. And you add that to the Bob Barker's 3 contact rule for the audience and who you should engage. Add that to Aaron Perry's What Makes a Great Game Show Host, and Roger Donkowitz' 10 Commandments, or 7, 8, or whatever, how many commandments it was to produce a good game show, and Rich Field's knowledge, and you got a winning package there. And I'll go over those with you at another time, my audience friend. But Dean Goss, you're very kind. I wanted to thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
And friends, I want to wish you a happy holidays, a happy new year if I don't see you, but I'm pretty sure I will. But I'm going to be hosting another podcast tomorrow or Wednesday with some of my friends, including Remix Plum. He'll be on. So, and he's joining us today. So, Remix, shout out to you, buddy.
Have a great Christmas. Have a great holiday. Have a great New Year. And we'll do part 2 soon.
We'll do portion 2. I'm going to come up with a lot more material, I know, Dean. All right. Happy New Year again. Happy holidays. Thank you, Dean, buddy. We will see everybody again on YouTube. Yep, High Rollers on YouTube. That's how I would say my version of it if I were to turn it into a podcast. I'll tell you about that one a little later, Dean, I promise.
All right.
All right. We'll see you again next time
Chris,
on the internet. Yes.
Chris, you are a high roller.
Thank you. Come on, give me those big numbers. I want $10,000. I'm doing it on YouTube, Wink and Dean. Yeah. All right. You got it, man. Take care. We love you all, everybody. Thank you.